Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Here's what I've done now. I got on ChatGPT. It's an AI tool where you can get on and it feels like you're just chatting with someone, but you're chatting with artificial intelligence. And I asked them to recommend to me an under $20 makeup look, and I showed them a picture of myself in a classic look that I really like, and the interaction is immediate. So I put that question out there and that picture, and they immediately gave me a multi-bullet point list of the product recommendations, the prices, and even the reasons why they were recommending such products. So I have these things, or very close to the things that they recommended, and we're going to put them together and see what kind of look it creates. Maybe coming up soon, we'll create a look that I completely come up with for under $20 and see which one worked out better. The first part for base/conceal, they recommended Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer, which actually I don't know where that's being carried currently. Like, I remember that one, it was in a squared off tube, but what Wet n Wild is primarily carrying is the Mega Last Incognito Concealer, but it ends up being under their price estimate here at $450. So I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna turn this into my base product. I already have my skincare on, and so I know this is kind of light. This shade is light beige, so I'm probably not gonna want this absolutely all over my skin, but I'm really going to just use it where I need it and blend it with a sponge so it gets as sheared out as possible. Okay, concealer only vibes. So before I get to blending with the sponge, I'm going to spread my dots out. This is a little Sephora 71 brush. We're just going to make it take up more room. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. Okay, I think I've sort of got my base is covered there. I spread it out, and now I'm going to use my sponge. And here's where I'm going to try to stretch that concealer a little bit more, you know. I want it to blend in the areas where I have it, but I'm also going to try to work it over larger planes maybe. Nothing in particular to do today, so this doesn't have to be perfect, but I want this to be as good as it can be. I feel like I just lost all coverage on my nose. I'm not sure why. And I also want to see if I can gain a little, like on the top of my cheeks. It's only a 5-product makeup routine, friends. They did recommend like a little eyeshadow palette from LA Colors, and then they referenced going to Dollar Tree to get it. So my ChatGPT must not know that the Walmart near me does have a full line of LA Colors now, and there's a lot of really affordable stuff in there. So here's a really light base. I was able to knock down my redness just a little bit on my skin. I would say that's not too bad. There's no powder recommended in this routine, and fortunately this isn't a concealer that's going to feel extremely dewy on me, so I think we'll be able to make that work. Next up for cheeks, they recommend Wet n Wild Color Icon Blush in Mellow Wine or Pinch Me Pink. They say warm and lively, this gives a healthy flush that complements your lip and eye tones. And I absolutely love this formula of blush, these types of blushes, so this was a great recommendation, and it's $3.50. So I'm going to use Mellow Wine here today. I'll go in with my e.l.f. blush brush. Feels weird to immediately opt to blush right after concealer, but should I tell ChatGPT that I do have a YouTube channel and maybe they could use that as a resource for the pics? This blush is gorgeous, and it's amazing what blush in itself can do for a look. I mean, Mellow Wine is an absolute stud. I think you could probably blend a little Mellow Wine as eyeshadow too if you wanted to, but they did recommend an eyeshadow here. Like I said, they're pointing to LA Colors. They're saying it's $1.25 at Dollar Tree or $1.50 at Family Dollar. I don't have the exact one that they're saying to use. They're recommending a 6-color eyeshadow palette in Sunset or Trendy. I do have a 3-color palette that I know only cost me $1.25 at Dollar Tree, and it's called Tumbleweed. So I'm gonna use that. And I guess since I don't have an eye primer in this routine, I'll just maybe tap on a little Incognito concealer. Also, what about brows? Maybe I could fill in a little bit with that matte brown. Okay, just tap that in to give myself a little bit of a neutralized base. And I do have, like I said, this matte brown right here. Before I get into the eyes, what about taking a little brow brush and just filling in some areas? I think it might be just neutral enough to work into my brows. Okay, see, that helped just a little bit. Just sort of thicken up a few little spots. Eyeshadow can work in a pinch. Also, I do have a shimmery shade in here that could work as some highlighter on my cheeks. This shade is a little light, but my brows are thick enough that it's kind of camouflaging itself in there. And what if we just take a little bit of this shimmery champagne with a Real Techniques setting brush? Just a little. Give ourselves a little cheek glow. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go into that brown that I was just using to fill in my brows with a crease brush. And we're just going to get it going in my crease in the outer corner area. I know I have tried a LA Colors 6-pan palette, but I must have decluttered. I'm just sweeping that back and forth, kind of windshield wiper motions. And I know using brushes definitely, like, that's a whole other expense associated with the makeup routine, but I did just ask for products. Okay, we're getting a nice soft crease going. I'm again going to go to that light shimmer and let some of that come up under my brow. I could use this provided sponge tip for a little bit of that brown, getting it on my outer corner of my eye. These little trios really pretty good. This brown is soft, but I think it would almost be kind of funny if the eye look was super loud, tied into this really light face. I'm going to go to this sort of soft gold, again with the sponge tip. Don't knock the sponge tips. Kevin and Quan even use sponge tips. Okay, got a little nice, easy, bronzy lid. Ooh, you know what I should do after this is take a picture of this look and then send it to ChatGPT and have them give me feedback on how I did. Wondering if I can build up the color just a little bit in my outer corner by using a smaller brush. This is my Profusion small pointed brush. And by the way, the Profusion crease brush and the small pointed brush are sold together in a trio of brushes at Walmart. It's building a little. It's just not your darkest brown. It's kind of just a medium brown. But it's really good that there is a matte in this trio. But I've heard so many of you in the comments section like thanking me for my drugstore content and the fact that you've got prices going up and you've just got other things in your life that you need to account for and you don't need an expensive makeup routine. And so hopefully this is sort of helpful. I could make a little more of this look, I would say, by taking some of my darkest shadow right on the tip of my small pointed brush and smudging it down underneath. This isn't going to be a look that involves any eyeliner, but we can stretch our eyeshadow as far as we can. Like I said, you used it as brows, we used it as highlighter. Don't underestimate the versatility of a little inexpensive trio, right? Okay, so I've gotten a little smudgy definition now with that. I think I've taken this look about as far as it can go, and it's working well. Next up, they recommend the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara, coming in at $4.99. They say defines and volumizes your lashes without clumping or flaking, and fortunately I do have this one in my rotation currently, and I've been enjoying it more than I even remembered, so I think this is a solid recommendation, although I really think we could go cheaper. In some of these areas where they're recommending a $4 and change or $5-ish type of product, we could cut that down even more and incorporate an extra thing like a brow pencil or maybe a powder or something, because I've been realizing LA Colors has like some good 98-cent stuff at my Walmart store these days. So here's Lash Princess, very well known, well loved, best-selling status mascara, and we kind of need all the drama we can get to add to this look because it's just so minimal on the face. I'd normally be putting on a foundation, I'd normally be wearing powder and bronzer, but we're relying on concealer and blush to make our base look. See, there's that mascara, really adds a lot. I'm not going to put it on my lower lashes just because it's not tubing, and we know how I am about that. Hi, Angel. Seeing how this is going? She says I only work for ChatGPT. This mascara really builds up well for me in a hurry, and I've been using it, you know, on and off for a few weeks, so I'm getting a good result. What do we think so far, guys? I'm surprised how content I actually feel with the skin. I got a little bit on my eyelid there to correct, but lashes look pretty good. Okay, got my little mistake corrected. I think the eyes actually look great. I think we got a very affordable combo of products on there. I was able to work one of these into my brows and, you know, make a passable brow for today. Now, moving on to lips, they recommend the NYX Butter Gloss. They said ginger snap or praline. Glossy, pigmented, and moisturizing. These are perfect for the kind of lip look you already wear beautifully. Oh, thank you. It says $5 or often on sale for $3.99 to $4.49. I didn't have either of the shades they recommended, but I do have Tiramisu, which doesn't look too far off. It's just not quite as nude. It's a little more pink than praline. So yeah, this is a good quality gloss, and it is something that could, I guess, create a full looking lip because it's got shine and it's got the pigmented color. Okay, what do we think? I might have gone with a little bolder lip for this look just because I know the face and the eye are pretty minimal, but still this does work. That's a pretty satisfying lip. I like the level of shine and I like that I'm getting some color. But yeah, this is it. This wraps up the recommendations. I'm gonna take a little bit more blush. What can we do now? Just add more blush. I like that I was able to get a little highlight out of my eyeshadow, but blush is really essential. I think when you're going with less coverage on your face and you don't have any bronzer on. But I would say this is a totally workable look for every day, honestly. It came together well. I've got a lash, I've got some under eye coverage, I've got blush, a lip. Really, this is pretty good. Like I said, if I were coming up with the under $20 routine, I would just really be digging into that LA Colors brand quite a bit because there are some really good things that you can find in Walmart now for 98 cents or $1.98 or something in there. So those recommendations could have stretched things a little bit and maybe allowed for another product or two, but it's really hard. It's hard to stay under $20 for a full face, and this is definitely a full face that could pass for me. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and I'll see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.